Hello, you are listening to Disney Travel Tales, episode number 28. This is a space where you can escape the real world and immerse yourself in someone's recent Disney trip. I'm Jenny, and today's episode, I'm talking with Kelly all about her surprise Disneyland trip on Christmas Day. Her and her husband surprised their two boys with a trip Christmas morning and were in Disneyland later that day. This is seriously like a dream trip for me. I can't wait for you to hear it. Also, check out Disney Travel Tales on Instagram to see lots of pictures from Kelly's trip. You guys, I have some very exciting news to share. I am now working as a travel agent with Trolley Lane Travel, and I'm ready to start planning your next magical vacation. This is yet another dream of mine, and it's finally happening. I have always loved planning my own Disney vacations. Well, with the help of Becky, of course. And now I'm officially ready to start helping you plan yours. Email me at jenny@trolleylanetravel.com to start planning your vacation today. As a bonus, I would love to have all my clients as guests on this show to retell their travel tale. There really is no better keepsake of your vacation than having a recording of all the stories and adventures. Before we get going on this amazing, magical travel tale, I have to let you know that the audio on this interview is not great. We were having connection problems, and for some reason, there is a weird echo. When we were recording, I could not hear it, but once we were done and I listened back, it was there. The story is just so fun, I couldn't let it disappear. So just bear with it and enjoy Kelly and her family's story. And imagine yourself walking into Disneyland and seeing Santa. Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I am so excited to talk to you about your trip to Disneyland after the Christmas holiday.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share our trip with all Disney lovers, and I've listened to your podcast for pretty excited.
Yay! So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience with Disney vacations?
Sure. So I grew up in Southern California. Going to Disneyland was, I was very, very lucky that going to Disneyland was just like right there. You know, it was something we did all the time as a family. And then we moved to Northern California. So going down, visiting family, Disneyland was always a huge part of our role. We did all the time. And then as soon as we had kids, we wanted to take them to Disneyland. We wanted them to experience the Disney magic. And so we moved to Texas and we started going to World. I had never been to Disney World until I was 43. So we started a half ago. And since we've went to Disney World for the first time, we've gone back several times in the last year and a half. We just absolutely love it. I will give Disney all my money. It brings our family so much joy. It makes me feel like a little kid again. We've done a Disney cruise. We just, as much Disney magic as we can get our hands on. We have been to Disneyland since, obviously in the pandemic, it was not open to outsiders, even when they first reopened. And I say outsiders, meaning outside of California. So when they did finally allow people from outside of California, we booked a trip. My children are huge Avengers fans, so we were really excited to go to Avengers Campus. And it was really fun to go, and especially after we'd been to World a lot in the last couple of years, it was, and it's hard not to compare because they're both so special in their own way. But I really feel like you need to do an episode on like Land versus World because it's like they're so different, and they're both so amazing.
That's such a great idea because they are completely different. And I have found talking to people who are very familiar with Disneyland that when they go to Disney World, they're like, what the heck?
Sure. Yeah, it can be really overwhelming. And that's why for a long time we didn't go to World, because I thought, I have little kids. It's just a whole different, everything operates differently there. And so I felt like I knew everything about Disneyland. I know where the bathrooms are. I didn't have to stress about anything. Oh my gosh, Disney World, they have it's so smooth there. Everything is so smooth. But yeah, that would be a great episode. And I could talk about the differences all day, but we're not here to talk about that. We're just here to talk about our trip. So we'll stick with that.
That sounds great. And yeah, I might have to have you back on to do the differences, because if you've been to both multiple times, and you definitely are very familiar with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, I think one of your recent episodes, I don't know if it was Kristen, she had twin boys, but she was saying that her husband was talking about just the lines, how they're different between, Florida versus California. And they are. It's like there's so much more entertainment and things to do when you're standing in line in Florida. And Disneyland, they didn't take that into account when they built the park.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, they're just different. Yeah, they're just different.
That's so interesting.
Anywho.
Okay, so let's talk about your trip. What dates did y'all travel?
We left on Christmas Day. We were gone from the 25th to the 30th, and it was a Christmas morning surprise for my kids. They had no idea. They've been wanting to go to Avengers Campus for a long time, but I continued to tell my older son that Disneyland was not allowing people from outside of California. So he thought we couldn't go, and so it was. My husband has always wanted to do a Christmas morning surprise, and we finally did make it happen. So, Christmas morning, they had a box to unopen, and it had these tickets that I printed off of Etsy, and they were so excited. When are we going? And they were thinking it might be like spring break. My husband said, we're leaving in an hour. Pack your backpacks.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
It was crazy. And I don't think I can ever do it again. Like it was so hard for me not to say anything. And then we had to pack for them. I have a 13-year-old and I have a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And so trying to pack for them in secret with notice, which they noticed by Christmas Eve night, they were both like, where's all our socks? Where's our underwear? So it was all packed. So we literally had all the luggage done. And all they had to do was pack their backpacks for the airplane ride. So the airport was pretty, I don't want to say empty, but it's Christmas morning.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty smooth port. We were really grateful that our flight didn't get canceled, because a ton were canceled Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
So we felt really lucky that ours didn't get canceled. And so, we flew American. We arrived. It was rain. It's rain there. We were coming from Texas. We're in Austin. It was 85 degrees when we left. I was taking Christmas Day and going to a cold Christmas Day, because it shouldn't be that warm on Christmas.
Yes.
So we landed at around 3:00, and we took an Uber from LAX to our hotel. It was super convenient. We got to our hotel, and we stayed right across the street from the Disneyland entrance. We stayed at Fairfield Inn, and it was our first time staying like outside of the Disney bubble.
Mm-hmm.
We've stayed at those Disney hotels before, and it's just so expensive at the time. And we were like, you know what? We're not going to be spending much time at the hotels. If we were going to have a pool day, or if we were going to be doing a lot of time at the hotels, maybe we would do that. But
yeah,
we stayed at the Fairfield Inn, and it was so close, so convenient. The location was fantastic. It was not even a 5-minute walk to the gates of Disneyland. So it was great.
Hey parents, do your kids listen to podcasts? Do they like solving mysteries and flexing their imaginations? Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is a new children's mystery podcast. Your kid can join Billy Bonanza and Susie Sockington on exciting and wacky adventures as they attempt to solve mysteries around their school. Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is available now on all podcast platforms.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize that as well, and because Disney World is not like that. So yeah, you can stay quote unquote off property, but you're right across the street.
Yeah, and it's when like one thing though is you are reminded that you're not like in that magical bubble anymore. When you walk out onto Harbor Boulevard, it's a main drag and there's tons of cars and you might see a homeless person if you're doing a big walk down the street. Like you're outside of the Disney bubble. There's pros and cons to that, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it is so convenient, and especially with the cost of some of those hotels at Christmas time.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great, and there's a ton of good priced quality hotels right on there. And our hotel was right next to like a Panera. So our hotel was very, I don't want to say basic. But it was simple. It had everything we needed. A little gift shop. We ordered groceries to be delivered. So kids had snacks. Mom and dad had wine. So we had all of that delivered, which was a really great, convenient option. And then there was a Panera right downstairs where we would go get coffee and my kids would just eat tons of bagels. But yeah, it was great. It was a good location. And so we went to our hotel, we got checked in, and then we went straight to the park. It was about maybe 5:30, and we went straight to the park. And as soon as we walked in, the Christmas Fantasy Parade had started.
Aww.
So I'm such a freak. Like I was so excited. My 10-year-old, like right as we walked in, the Santa float was going by. And so he was screaming and I was crying and it was just so magical. It was so exciting. And then, they make it snow right after the parade. So that was a really, really fun way to start our evening. And what did we do? It was cold. It was cold and a little rainy. We had packed ponchos, we packed rain gear. And I think because it was Christmas night and it was a little rainy, it definitely helped with the crowd because we didn't have any lines for anything. We walked right onto Pirates. We walked onto Space Mountain. We did not have reservation for Oga's. I really wanted Oga's reservations, but I couldn't get them. We walked up and there was a 10-minute wait and we walked right in.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like, I didn't expect that on Christmas Day, but it was such a welcome surprise. And I know the rain probably had something to do with it, but we lived in Seattle for a while, so the rain doesn't really deter us. We're like, woohoo. But it was a really good night. I was surprised it was a different menu than the Oga's in Florida. Like they had actual food. Yeah, they had actual food at this one. We got some pork belly sliders, which were so good. And they came on like these little bao buns. And I mean, they just had a few different types of appetizers, which were, we were starving.
Yeah.
So that was a really nice surprise. And then my kids loved the blue bantha milk and I like their margarita. It's called an Outer Rim. So we were in there for a little while. We had a ton. And then what did we do after that? We ran into some friends. It's so random.
We
ran into friends I haven't seen in years. They're from Northern California. And so they were there. So that was fun. And yeah, that evening was really just kind of fireworks because we were on a ride and we were okay with that because we knew we had a few more days. But it was a great first night there. And we just did a couple of the rides. Like I said, we did Space Mountain, we did Pirates, and then we did some shopping on Main Street. And we were so exhausted from the travel day that it was a long day. A lot of adrenaline that day, for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The next morning, what is that, December 26th, that was our California Adventure Day. So we chose not to park hop. We just were going to do one park per day. And we started that day by having a character breakfast at the Grand Californian at Storytellers Cafe. And oh my gosh, it's, the character breakfast, character meals in general are pricey, but this one was so worth it. And we would go back and do this one again. The food was packed. The character interactions were nonstop. And we just had the best time. They had yummy mimosas. I loved the chilaquiles. They were like my favorite. I got a whole plate of those. They just had a really good variety of buffet food. And coming from Texas, we've not had a buffet in a long time.
Yeah.
So it was so exciting to go to like a real buffet where you can go and pick out your food. It seems like with COVID, we haven't done that as many people have not in years. So.
Oh, yeah. I can't even remember the last time I went to a buffet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we had a great breakfast. And then we went right into California Adventure. There's a entrance in the hotel where you can walk into the park. And so that's always fun. So California Adventure Day. Yes. We walked in, and this was our first time. My husband's eligible for the DAS pass, which is the disability pass. And so he did like the interview with the cast member beforehand, and he was approved. So this was the first time that we ever experienced using that. And we didn't need to use it on Christmas night because there were no lines. But our first morning in California Adventure, we went to Radiator Springs Racers, and we were trying to use it. And it was really, we didn't know what we were doing. It was our first time. And so his name was popping up as the registered guest with the DAS pass, but our names were not. And supposedly your entire party gets the access. A lot of Disney people may know this. I know. If you need any help whatsoever, like customer service wise or guest service wise, there are little green umbrellas around the parks. And I didn't know this in all my years of going to Disney, but there's little green umbrellas everywhere. And so the lady at Radiator Springs, she's like, just find the green umbrella right around the corner. And we're like, what green umbrella? Well, they blend in. I didn't even realize that that's where you could always go no matter what issues you were having.
That's so good to know.
We went over there. Yes. It was so helpful. Yes. And then once I knew they were there, I saw them everywhere. So there's always, Disney magic, customer service, they're always above and beyond. And they were they got it all situated for my husband and our family. And then from that point on, we had no issues. And so basically, like the DAS pass, it worked like a lightning lane. It wasn't like we got to, if he was in a wheelchair, maybe we would like go straight to the front or something. But we basically booked lightning lane reservations with the DAS pass.
Okay.
And we got in the lightning lanes, same as everybody else, but everything moved very fast, which was wonderful. So, that day, so that was a day that it wasn't raining. And the wait time for Radiator Springs was 120 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So, and that was about average for all it was really, really busy. So we were incredibly grateful to be able to go through the lightning lanes.
Absolutely.
So we did that, and then we did Toy Story Midway Mania, which we all love, and then we headed over to Avengers Campus. Our first ride there was the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which is so much fun. I laughed so hard on that. And it's the same for the East Coast people. It's the same as like Tower of Terror, but it's Avengers themed. It's Guardians of the Galaxy themed.
That's so cool. I want to go on that sometime.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Like we laughed so hard. And I just, you got to do it. You have to do it. And Avengers Campus was incredible. If you have anyone in your family who is an Avengers fan, it went above and beyond my expectations. And because there's really only one ride there, I have to be honest, I wasn't expecting too much. I thought, okay, well, it's probably just a themed little land. But there were so many characters walking around. There were so many character interactions you could have constantly. And so it was really, my kids were they didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay in Avengers Campus the whole time. And we had such a great experience up there because, it's like you're right there. You're waiting in line to talk to Iron Man. The wait was like 15 minutes. And then you turn around and there's, Thor walking towards you. And it was so, and then there's a Spider-Man show that happens like every half an hour. And which, oh my gosh, and that's incredible. I don't know if anyone has seen, it's like he's on a rooftop and he's doing like flips and jumps. And it's just this really amazing little show they do.
That is so cool.
And we had Web Slingers is that's the Spider-Man ride at Avengers Campus. I knew nothing about it. My kids knew nothing about it. Like we like to watch a lot of stuff on YouTube to prepare for trips or to, if we can't get to the park, we like to see what the new stuff is. We go on and we watch stuff on YouTube. And I told my kids months ago when Web Slingers came out, I said, don't watch it. I want to go in completely blind. I don't want to know anything about this ride. And so none of us knew anything about this ride.
That's so fun.
So we're waiting for our time to go into the ride. We had some time to kill. And it's across the way from the ride entrance. And the store is called Web Suppliers. So it's just like all Spider-Man-y stuff. So my 10-year-old diehard Spider-Man, who was dressed as Spider-Man that day too, without the mask. They don't allow the mask, but he just was so excited. He's like, let's go in here. Well, we're in there looking around, and they have like these web shooters that you can attach to your wrist. It's like a little toy, And so he was like, oh, this is fun. Maybe I'll get this. He had brought his own money. And the cast member was saying, oh, you can use this on Web Slingers. You can use this on the ride too. It's interactive. And I was like, what? Because I have no idea what this ride is about. But he, like, this cast member is incredible. Kids, if you get this extra little attachment, this little web shooter, it'll work on the ride too. So, as well as just play with it at home. But that was fun. So, we went on Web Slingers, and I don't know if do you want me to tell you about Web Slingers?
Yeah, you can talk about it. I feel like it's been out long enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. I didn't know what to expect, but I basically say it's like a Spider-Man version of like Toy Story. And my husband was like, well, kind of. But you're basically shooting webs. And it was such a workout. My arms were so sore. And it keeps score like Toy Story Mania loose, and you wear these glasses, and the glasses, I don't know if there's a sensor. I don't know how they do it, but it keeps a score of you shooting webs and going on this little Spider-Man adventure. So my son's web shooter, I guess it had more power. He got more boost or something by wearing it and using that. So that was fun.
That's so fun.
But my arms were so sore. Like, and I haven't worked out in a while. I haven't gone to a gym in a while because of COVID. I just stay away from that place. I just, I have to say, oh my gosh, my arms were so sore when I got off. I was like, I am so out of shape. I need to do some arm workouts. Like, this is not what I expected. But what did we eat there? We went to Pim's Test Kitchen.
Okay.
And Pim's, if anyone is familiar with any of the movies, like Pim's, they did everything there is just kind of like science-y and like oversized, like really fun. Oh, like my son got a pretzel that was like as big as his head, was just ginormous. And they had cocktails that come in like these little beakers. What else? Oh, they had bacon. They sold candied bacon, and that was delicious. Who doesn't want to just chew on some bacon once in a while? Yeah, but let's see. What did I got? It was called The Experiment, and it had Patron Silver Tequila, mango habanero syrup, and like these mango boba balls. And it was good. It was a little spicy. So, but it was fun. And we did mobile, which, I mean, that's just a brilliant way to order when there's, crowds of people. But we really didn't have to wait long for anything. We were able to get seating right away, despite there being a good crowd of people in there. There was ample seating, and we were served pretty quickly, which was great.
That's great.
Yeah, my son they have this fried chicken sandwich, which has this teeny tiny bun and this massive piece of chicken. And it's just funny. Like, I just felt like the food was kind of comical.
That sounds so fun. Like, I want to go there.
It was fun. You have to, especially if you have boys, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If your husband, if anybody likes it, it's so much fun. What else?
Hey, this is Jenny just popping in real quick. I kind of lost Kelly at this point, but she does start talking about how her mom met them at their hotel, and her boys were really surprised. They didn't know their grandma was coming. And she also talked about how she got her mom a scooter off property, because sometimes they're hard to get on Disney property. They get sold out or reserved. And so she kind of just talked about that a little bit right here.
And that, because I know the ones, like the little scooters you can get inside the park. Sometimes they sell out. It's like a first come, first serve. So to know that we could have that reserved for her, just made everything so much more convenient.
Yes.
So she was dropped off at our hotel. Our kids didn't know she was coming. That was a surprise. And we plopped her around the little scooter. She's capable of walking, but she's in her 70s. And I just know how much we walk and how active my kids are. And I was like, Mom, you will have a better time if you just ride this little thing. She was like, okay. So we decorated it. We put a balloon on it. We packed her up, put all her stuff in there. And we started our day at Small World, and it's all decked out for the holidays. They have the whole Christmas holiday overlay in all the lands, and it's just so beautiful. Everything's so beautiful at Christmas time. We loved it. So we kind of let her dictate what rides she wanted to do, and she wanted to do all the ones she did when she was little. So we basically spent the morning in Fantasyland. We did Dumbo. We did Peter Pan. There are places where it bottlenecks and you're just trapped in a crowd of people. And it was really, really crowded in Fantasyland that morning. But it was great. We stopped. We got coffee. Edward's Tavern is a quick service right next to like the Snow White ride. And oh my gosh, they have the best gingerbread ever. And I ate so much gingerbread on this trip. But this gingerbread, I was so obsessed with. It was like $3.99, and it was a Mickey head, and it had a really thin glaze on it. And oh my gosh, I brought a bunch home. I just loved it so much. It was
that sounds so good.
We got gingerbread. Oh, and churros. about the snacks. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was so good. There's a churro cart in Fantasyland too. And the one thing we noticed, and maybe they do this all the time, but I just haven't noticed, but every churro cart had like a different dipping sauce. So
Huh.
like the one in yeah, it was so interesting. The one in Fantasyland, it was like a regular churro, but the dipping sauce was a frosted spice sugar cookie dipping sauce.
Oh,
And it was like
yum.
a cinnamon frosting with streusel. It was so good.
Oh my gosh, that
And
sounds
I swear that was the
amazing.
longest line. So good. And I think that was the longest line we stood in that morning because it was probably 30 or 40 minutes, but we were like, we have to get these churros. So it was a big snack day. And my mom, who is hysterical, my mom, who growing up, we always brought our own food into the parks. And I still do that sometimes, but we told her that day, we were like, listen, you better prepare yourself because we're a snack. So she was really excited about all the snacks. They have since redone the Snow White ride. Since I was there last, so several years ago, it was still the same exact Snow White as it was, 40 years ago. So they redid the Snow White ride. I have always been, it's going to sound silly, I've always been terrified of that ride. Like the witch is so scary, and it's a children's ride, but I think I was so terrified of it as a kid that even as I'm a grown-up, I just won't go on it. But they redid it. So I was like, oh, let's go on it. Maybe it'll be better. It wasn't. That witch scares me to death, and it always will. My kids were like, Mom, it's fine. I'm like, no, not that one. But they redid it, and it's fun. It's fun. Everyone should go on it, I suppose. Give it a shot.
Well, Snow White is kind of a scary movie.
It is, right? Yes, and the witch.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes. Like it is scary. I remember the first time I showed Snow White to my kids. Afterwards, they were like, "Mama, why did we watch that? That was scary."
Yes, I agree. I mean, like it's a stranger giving you food, and it's just, it's spooky. It is. It's one of.
Yes,
I'm with you. Well, then you might not like this ride either.
Probably not.
It's not nearly as joyful as like the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. That's a fun one. That's a good Snow Whitey ride. Let's see. What do we do next? Next, we went to Haunted Mansion, and it had like it was Nightmare Before Christmas themed, which I have never been on it when it's themed like this. And I think they do it all the time between October and December, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I have not ever been on it. So when it's decorated this way, and it was so much fun. It was so exciting. It was so cool. Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my son's favorite movies. So it was just exciting. And Jack, he was all dressed up. And he was on the upper balcony of the house, interacting with everyone as you walked in. And so that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And let's see. After that, over to the French Market restaurant. That's right there in New Orleans Square. And it's a little quick service restaurant. You don't need reservations. But it was what did we order? Oh, my mom got a sourdough bread bowl with orange powder. It was cold. We wanted some warm food, and it was so convenient. Yeah. We mobile ordered, and our food was ready right away. I had heard going into the trip, I had been doing a lot of reading, saying that, you need to mobile order hours in advance because it's so crowded. And we had no issues with the mobile ordering whatsoever. It was like we could order from now, immediately. It was very, very convenient. Like they were doing a really good job making sure you could eat quickly if you wanted to. So my mom got the chowder. husband and I shared, they called it a beef po' boy, but it was really a French dip sandwich. And it was fine. It wasn't, I don't know. We weren't thrilled by it. I don't know that I would spend the money on it again. My younger son, all he eats is mac and cheese. So he thought the mac and cheese was great. And then next door is where they sell the Mickey beignets.
Mm-hmm.
So we always have to get Mickey beignets when we open, and they have different holiday versions. Like I want to say at Halloween time they did a one, and at Christmas time this year they had a peppermint one. We didn't really care for the peppermint beignets. They didn't seem as fresh, but the traditional Mickey beignets, they were so warm and hot, and you could tell they were fresh. So that was worth it. But maybe the holiday ones just aren't as popular, so they sit around for longer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So, but we enjoyed that. Once again, another snack for the day. And then after that, what did we do? Oh, we went to Galaxy's Edge. My husband built a lightsaber, and it was his first time doing so. So that was the highlight of his trip. He wanted to make sure that I told you that building was the highlight of his trip. So it was a little bit different. My kids built a lightsaber at Disney World, and it was a little bit different of an experience. When we first went to World, it was a week after they reopened the Build the Lightsaber experience. So, I mean, the people that were working in there at Savi's workshop, you could tell that they were so excited to be back. Like there was so much enthusiasm. They were very theatrical. And this is at the Savi's workshop at Disney World. And so the one last week in Disneyland, it was great. It was a great experience, but it felt more, there just wasn't the same enthusiasm, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like with the cast.
Oh, yeah.
But still, he loved it. And they didn't have, if you've ever built a lightsaber, they give you like a carrying case for your lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
And they were out of them that day. So that was kind of frustrating because it's like you're going to build this expensive lightsaber and then walk around with it in the open.
I mean,
so we had
that would be crazy.
Gondars and buy. I know it was kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we'll give you an extra kyber crystal, but it doesn't necessarily equate because the lightsaber holder, it was a lot because I think the carrying case from Doc Ondor's is like $60. So we went and spent $60 to put this lightsaber somewhere in a safe, keep it safe. So that was kind of a bummer. We understand there's tons of shipping delays on a lot of stuff under control and their control right now. But we didn't necessarily. They should have given. That's what you're paying so much for a stinking lightsaber. But
absolutely.
Make sure to tell you it was the highlight of his trip. He was so happy.
That's awesome.
Let's see. What else? My son, he built a droid at Droid Depot before. Really exciting. He had a ton of fun doing that. And the cast members there incredibly kind and helpful. They were wonderful. we kind of, yeah, we had booked a workout appointment on time, and they were like, don't even worry about it. Just come back whenever you need.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
I didn't expect that. I thought they were going to be real strict with time, but they were not.
Yeah.
They were. By the time it was raining pretty hard, so outdoor kind of restaurant, but there's a roof, so we had parked her in there so she could go into the stores with us. She just called her friend. So she stayed nice and dry, and then we went to Oga's after we had a reservation. She had never been into any place like that, and she was laughing the whole time. That we don't have themed drinks, and she thought it was great. We sat in a booth, which we've never sat in a booth before, and I feel going on with the little sky scene, and there's just a lot of activity, and we couldn't really see a lot of that because we were in the booth. But I mean, I have no complaints whatsoever. It was nice to get off our feet, but in the booth would be the best. I actually think that you see more. You see things.
Oh, that's interesting.
So let me see. Hello, are you there? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. What do we do? Okay. After that, we went to the Blue Bayou for dinner. And the Blue Bayou is the Blue Bayou restaurant is out of Frederick. So that mom had not been. Mom had not been since she was, but I when it opened. But she said it hadn't been there very long. I'm excited to go home. And they absolutely amazing situation where they're just wonderful. But I checked in for the restaurant on my phone. I checked in. I got the confirmation. Oh, thank you for checking in. We'll let you know when your table's ready. And like 10-15 minutes went by, and I just went up to the host stand to double check, and they didn't have my reservation.
Oh no.
Like they didn't have it in their system. It was nowhere. And they just were like, we're so sorry, we have your reservation. And I showed them Disney Experience app. I showed them. I said, well, we have when I got the text. Anyways, it went through like 4 people because it was so crowded. And I was like, oh my gosh, are they going to let us in? There was a bug in the system or something. I'm not really sure. It worked out really well. They obviously honored the reservation immediatally. And just being in there. I remember when I was a little kid and we would go on Pirates, and I just always look at the people eating at the blue, but I just got to go. I can understand why my parents. No, we brought in, but just you got to do it at least one time. The food was delicious. They do really cool, which for pricing. Just my husband got. And the jambalaya had so much in it. It had shrimp, it had andouille sausage, chicken, ham, Creole rice. Like there was so much in there. It was loaded. I think the famous which is the turkey, ham, and Swiss sandwich that they deep fry, and then you serve it with like a jelly sauce or they usually have some sort of marmalade with it. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I can't remember when I had one before. Like, I usually don't eat tons of fried food, but this day we were going all out. It was so good. And it was just delicious. I got the chicken, fish chicken, which came with jasmine rice and vegetables. And it might sound a little boring, but I just felt like I wanted something semi-healthy that night after eating so much junk. And it was delicious.
Yeah.
It was the chicken was so juicy, flavorful, and it was really, really good. They serve alcohol in there now. And at Disneyland, they don't serve alcohol at all, except for at Oga's Cantina and now the Blue Bayou. So, they have like hurricanes and Mai Tais, like they have cocktails like that. I got a glass of wine, which was so exciting. And my son got one of those little light up rings. You know, they put the little light up thing in there. It was a wonderful experience. Just had but we took my mom on Rise of the She.
Oh my gosh! Really?
She's not a. So excited. She was like, in jail. Like it was hilarious the whole time seeing the ride. So we had a great time. What did we do? After that? After that, we watched the fireworks. Oh my goodness! Fireworks. Yes, it was perfect timing. I bought more gingerbread. I'm clearly battling an addiction, and it was. They're a lot smaller scale than the one at World, but they did do the projections down Main, and it was just special. And then they make it snow. So that was really, really because the other end to the rain. So I'm glad Mom was with us to see that. That was special.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Let's see. Yeah. What else? Oh, and we did Jungle Cruise. It was pouring rain, but we were like, who cares? We're wet. Let's go on Jungle Cruise. And that was fun because my mom, once again, she did not remember how funny those Jungle Cruise skippers are. Yeah, it was great. And we had all of ponchos. We had umbrellas. But my 10-year-old still manages to get his hand. I don't know what he does. It's like he rolls around in puddles. But it was great. It was great. That was our night. Because then after fireworks and the ride, we were okay. So next day is Tuesday 8th, and we went to Goofy's at the Disneyland Hotel. And my mom and one of her best friends came and met us for breakfast. Now, my mom, since she grew up in Anaheim, she has a lot of friends that have worked for Disney for a very long time. And her best friend who came, and since she was in high school. So she now does event planning for them. It was all really exciting to sit and talk to her about Disney because she knows everybody. So it was
That
really
is
fun
so cool.
to have her come and talk to us. And there's an entire display in the lobby of the Disneyland Hotel right now that she designed and put together. And it's of all vintage memorabilia and it's just fun. It was really exciting to have her for breakfast. Yeah, I mean, and like the people, like she's best friends with Imagineers, like the lady that hand aviator scenes, like the landscape, like she just, it's fun to have conversations with her when you loved it. Goofy's Kitchen, once again, character breakfasts are pretty expensive, and my kids are 10 and up, so we have to pay adult price. For the money, I would prefer going to Storytellers. I think the food was better. Goofy's Kitchen buffet is really geared towards kids. I mean, there's, you know, you can put M&M and chocolate syrup on your pancakes, you know, it's like that sort of stuff. But it was a ton of fun. The characters were so amazing. Pluto dancing nonstop. He had great moves. So that was fun. But one of the things that I had forgotten about is that Disneyland, the Disneyland Hotel, is they're building a DVC portion. So they're asked for DVC, the Disney Vacation Club building. And so we were listening to jackhammering the entire time. So loud.
Oh my gosh.
So that's something to keep in mind at the Disneyland Hotel. You know, there's no discounts, but you definitely are going to be having that construction noise. So, yeah, it was really, it was loud. Like we were sitting inside having breakfast in this jacket, and we're just going. And I was like, oh my goodness. And there's no signs anywhere. Yeah, there's no signs anywhere warning saying the construction. Planning on any post day. It might be to wait until it's completed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really good to know because, man.
But that was fun to see my friend with her, and then our day that day was California event. We went back to California and we rode the Incredible, which is so much fun. It's like the only real roller coaster. In Cal, because it goes. Yeah. The Incredicoaster is so much fun. It goes upside down. It's last night we're just laughing so hard. It was great. We did. There's an area in California Adventure called the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. And they had, there's like zip lining, rock climbing. There's a huge area for kids. And it's just a great place for kids to like get out their energy, to run around, and it's all contained. So it's safe to like let your kids wander. There's only one way in and one way out.
Yeah, that's nice.
And there's tons of bench. And they had a whole Santa. There was a whole Santa. The Redwood Creek Challenge Trail.
Yes.
It was just awesome. They had this whole little area set up at Christmas time where you could get your pictures taken with Santa. They have a whole sugar cookie decorating kit, and a whole area where you could just sit and decorate Christmas cookies. It was really sweet. It was cute. It was definitely a great place where the kids can run around, the kids can have fun, and there's enough seating where parents could just sit if you just wanted to get off your feet.
That's
so
really
that was
nice.
nice. We definitely took advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good. And then they ran around there. We went on Soarin'. I'm not sure if I already said that. We had reservations that evening for Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar. And that's, I've never eaten there. I have just gone in there to get like a drink before.
Mm-hmm.
So we had reservations and I was really excited about that because I thought, well, the kids will think that's like a fun thing. Oh, you know, maybe the kids were not as thrilled about it. I thought bowl, and that was really, really delicious. And we shared it. They were really, and the cocktails, you know, they're a lot of cocktails. They have a lot of rum cocktails, and I ordered a hippopotami Mai Tai, and it was a little too strong for me. Yeah, it was really funny, but I don't drink like I used to. So, I mean, if I have anything, I usually just have wine. So I really didn't know what to order. And so I got the Mai Tai. It was so strong, like dark rum strong. And I gave it to my husband, and I ordered a glass of wine instead. I'm getting old. I'm like, here, you can have that.
Yeah, I'm right with you.
The server, yeah, it's just like, especially when you're running around all the time. You got the kids there. I don't know. So,
yes, for sure.
But they do the show. You know, if you order like the special drink, they do like the light show and like the fire. I don't know what you have to order to get it, but it was fun. It was an experience. But right outside, so we were seated inside. It was, I think, they call it like Tangaroa Terrace. And it's just another like restaurant at the Disneyland Hotel. And they had like Hawaiian singers with little guitars, and it was just so peaceful and beautiful, and it overlooked the Disneyland Hotel pool. And so my kids were like, can we sit out there? But it was a different restaurant. So I think next time we would skip Trader Sam's when we have the kids, and we would probably opt for that more family-friendly space outside. So that was good to know.
Yes, that's good to know.
But after, it's, you know, I just think that vibe for Trader Sam's is good for adults, but maybe not the kids next time.
Yeah.
But we went back into California Adventure that night because we wanted to ride Radiator Springs at night because it's just so beautiful at night. It's just like a whole different experience. But we also wanted to see the Doctor Strange show at Avengers Campus. And that was happening throughout the day. I want to say it was happening like every hour. But the line was so long to get in to see it that we were never on the right track in order to see it. So we kind of had carved out that evening and said, we're going to see the show. And we stood in line, and it was pretty cool. It was, my kids just thought it was amazing. You know, Doctor Strange does, I don't know what you call it, wizardry or magic. I guess it's like
it's like wizard, yeah.
So that was fun. And then I don't want to spoil any surprises, but another Avenger joins him during that show. That was very exciting to my kids. Doctor Strange, the show worth watching. I understand why the line was so long. So we did that. And we went back to the Guardians ride because that just makes us laugh so hard. And oh my gosh, and you know what was interesting? When we were going back to the Guardians ride, there was in line next to us a man with a service dog. And like we were all at the very front of the line, and he had the service dog, and I thought, oh my gosh, is he going to bring this dog on this ride? Like, what is he going to do? And I was like, I mean, I know service dogs provide a lot of calm, but when you're taking them on one of these drop rides, I just thought, oh no. We were kind of worried about the dog.
Yeah.
So, but it turned out right as we were about to enter the ride, like literally go get in the seat, a cast member came from the side, and they had a huge doggy crate. And I guess every single ride, they have these animal crates that are for people with service dogs. So the animal doesn't go on the ride with you.
Mm-hmm.
If it's one of these. Yeah, but there's a safe place for the dog. And then as soon as we got off the ride, they had the dog right there for them waiting. So I thought that was really, good for people that need to have their service animal. It was nice to know that they took really good care of the animal too, and they were prepared.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So, yes. So that was the end of our California Adventure Night. We went to so then our last day was the following day, and that was our last Disneyland day, and this was projected to be the rainiest day of the whole week. So we packed accordingly. We had our ponchos, we had our umbrellas. We slept in that morning, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just rushing and getting up and going, we slept and got rest at Panera on the way out, which was super convenient. And we started. My kids are home now. We started our morning. We went to Space Mountain first. The rain, I was really thinking was going to keep the crowds away,
Mm-hmm.
but it was pretty crowded that day. At least that's the morning. It felt like the morning crowds were heavy, and then throughout every day, the crowds lightened up. And I think that was just because of the weather, keeping people away. They just were by the two. We did more of our favorite. We did Space Mountain, did my Rose Tavern to get my favorite gingerbread. We went back to the corn dog cart, Little Red Wet, and exactly how it was supposed to be. You could tell they were fresh, so we definitely realized, they were probably swamped and busy.
Mm-hmm.
And cold, we get a donut. It's like we did Indiana Jones, which I don't know that I can do again. Our 40, it should. Probably that one. And every night they light. They have a small world lighting ceremony. So if you see me pictures of Ben Disneyland at the holidays, they light up Small World for like 5,000 lights. It's beautiful, so beautiful. So I was like, we have to watch the lighting ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought they did something. Like I thought they had I didn't know what I expected, but all they did was you're standing there. There's huge crowds of people. They literally just turn the lights on.
Oh man.
There was that was it. I was like, they're not going to do anything more. So just kind of manage your expectations on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was beautiful. It's so beautiful all lit up. And yeah, it was good. It was fun. But what? After that, my kids wanted to. It was so fun. It was a ton of fun, and my kids loved it. We were singing with the carolers. It just was a really, really beautiful playscape. Some of that rain, and it was nice. It was nice. And then we went back and had dinner at our favorite little Italian place. My son got chicken parmesan that night, which was delicious. But my husband and I got pizza again because we love their pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And it was evening, but it was late. But we were like, we're going back in because I really wanted to see fireworks. And they hadn't announced that the fireworks were canceled yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I stood out there. I stood out there in front of the castle for probably 40 minutes. And then they said that they were canceling the fireworks.
Oh no.
I know. I was so crushed. I was so crushed. But they still played the music.
Mm-hmm.
They did it was nice to see what they do when they cancel it due to weather.
Yeah.
They still did the music and projections, but there were no fireworks with it. So, it's okay. They got it safety first, right?
Yeah. At least they still do something.
Yeah. And they still made it snow, but you couldn't tell because of all the rain.
Right.
But it was special still nonetheless. Just to be right there in front of that beautiful castle. And then, oh man, our last ride, we all wanted to go on Pirates again. We wanted that to be like our last official ride because we just love that Pirate so much. And so we walked over to Pirates and rode it, and that was our last ride. And then we said goodbye to the park after that. It was awesome. It was a really, really special trip. The rain did not dampen our spirits. It was, if anything, it made it kind of fun because I think the crowds were less because of the rain at certain times.
Yeah.
And it was so special. It was a really, really, it was a really great time. And I don't know that I can ever keep a secret like that from my kids again. It was too difficult for me. I don't want to keep a secret like that again, but it definitely made for a really, really exciting time. So
That's so fun. That sounded like such a great trip. It's always been like a dream of mine to go to a Disney park during Christmas.
Yes. Oh, you guys got to make that happen sometime for sure.
Just the magic of it all. Oh, I would just love it.
Yeah. It's so, it's so special, and it's more, to me, it just feels more magical than the rest of the year. And I just love Christmas time so much in general, that just seeing the decorations and the music, it just puts me in that much more of a Christmas spirit. So yeah,
Absolutely.
You guys need to make that happen, even if it's just you and your husband for a weekend next year or something.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. I would love that.
Yeah.
So your travel day home, how was that? How was the airport and your flight and everything?
So coming home was a lot busier. It was that was the 30th, so that was the day before New Year's, and our flight did not leave until 7 p.m. So that day itself, we relaxed, we slept in, we packed. My husband should get a gold medal for the packing job that he did after all the stuff we got. It's like amazing. But we had lunch in downtown Disney. We went to a place called I think it's black tap burgers, and they have these crazy shapes. They're just like the most like big pieces of cake and on top of the shake and tons of whipped cream, and they had delicious burgers. We took an Uber back to the airport, and honestly, the Uber. That's the one thing about World is they did until now there's no more Magical Express there.
Right.
But even if you were to take an Uber at World, it would not cost as much as it does going to LAX from Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
So it was another like $110 or so to go back. But the airport was crazy that day. It was really busy. Our flight left at 7. It was delayed a little bit. And so we didn't get home. I mean, we landed at like 12:30 Texas time. So we didn't get, we didn't get home and go to bed till almost 2 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
It was a long travel day. So, but, we made the most of it. At least we were able to get a few extra things done in downtown Disney that day. And it was good. We're still kind of recovering. We've got all the laundry done, but we're all still exhausted. So
oh yeah, it takes days, like a week to recover from a Disney vacation.
Oh, for sure. Especially when you're like go like this was.
Yes.
And I think that's like the last family trips we've had to Disney have been when the weather's really warm.
Mm-hmm.
And so we always try and incorporate a day where we just like swim and hang out at the hotel, just to kind of get your energy back.
Mm-hmm.
But this trip, every day was like go, which was so much fun. But at the same time, you come home exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was special. It was special. We're really, really grateful that we had that time. And I think our next. It's like I can't help it. I can't help but now think, well, what's our next trip going to be? So,
oh yeah.
I don't know. We got to recover from this one first, and then we'll. I know we're going to be planning something else. Becky over at Trolley Lane Travel is just the absolute best, and so we often. I'm sure I'll be reaching out to her soon about planning something else. So.
Oh yeah, she's the best.
She sure is.
Okay, so what was your least magical moment of the trip?
Ooh. That's a good question. Wow. Least magical moment. Well, it might be when they lost our reservation for Blue Bayou.
Mm-hmm.
But they rectified that really quickly. They rectified that really quickly. I know what it is. When we were walking to our hotel one night, we saw a homeless person. And my son, it broke his heart. He was like, Mom, my heart hurts for her. We offered her food. I think, and then, that started a big conversation with my kids. Because we are very blessed and we don't live in an area where we see a lot of homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
And when we've gone to that, and that's what I was referring to about the Disney bubble in Florida. Like even when you're traveling from one place to another, one park to another park, one hotel to another hotel, or to Disney Springs, that Disney bubble is pretty, there's not a lot of outside real world problems you see inside of that bubble.
Oh yeah, you see nothing.
Right. It's all magic. It's all happy. It's all joy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one thing about not staying right on Disneyland property. When you leave that Disney bubble, there's some reality that hits you. So, that would probably for sure be there. Anything that was inside Disneyland or California Adventure, the cast members are so incredibly helpful. If there was ever any issues that we had, they always rectified it really quickly. They really did. Yeah.
Yeah, when we went to Disneyland, we stayed across the street and my kids were in I think, 4th and 3rd grade at the time. And that was the first time they had ever seen a homeless person. And we were like walking by them and they were just very like surprised. Like, that's really where they live. So yeah, we had to have a whole talk about it. And yeah, they were like sad.
Right. Yeah, it's a sharp dose of reality, you know, and then it also, you know, for my son, he was, just like you were saying, and it made him really feel like I want to help. I want to give them some of my money, you know,
It's hard.
It's tough, but I think those conversations are really good to have. And, you know, maybe we wouldn't have had those conversations if we weren't confronted with it, you know?
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and what was your most magical moment?
Oh my gosh. That was easy. It's when we, like the very first night when we got there and we walked right into the park. And as soon as we walked right around the corner on Main Street, the Santa float was going by and it was the parade. Like that, we all screamed. Even my 13-year-old had the biggest grin on his face. It was just, the timing was so incredible, and we couldn't have planned that better. Like, we didn't even plan it. We just were walking in and there's Santa and there's the dancing reindeer and here comes Mickey. It just was, that was the most magical for sure.
I know, that's almost like, it's almost like picture perfect. Like, you surprised your kids to go to Disney. Y'all get to Disney and you walk in and there's the parade with Santa. Like that. It couldn't be more perfect, right?
Right. It was like, pinch me. Is this really happening?
Yes.
Yeah, it was special. That could not be, that was definitely the most magical for sure. Yeah.
That's so wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on this show, Kelly. I've been so excited to talk to you. Over Christmas, I was telling like all my family, I get to talk to someone who's at Disneyland right now. And I was so excited.
And I'm so honored. I enjoy your show. And so I'm really excited that I was able to contribute. And I'm excited for you and for the show. And I know you only started in the last year, but I feel like it's only going to grow and get bigger. So I enjoy listening to everyone's travel tales. So thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed the show today. I was so excited to talk to Kelly all about her surprise Christmas Disneyland trip. If you never want to miss a new episode, make sure to subscribe to the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, if you want to help support the show, the best way to do so is by leaving a positive review on Apple Podcasts or now on Spotify. Spotify is so easy to leave a review on. You don't even have to write anything. It's just a star review. I will be back next week with a brand new episode. Until then, this is Jenny, and may all your Disney travel dreams become a reality.